Hi, this is Elena.
And Michelle.
And this is a snowdrop.
Just like Bluey.
What is...
Anytime they're doing, like, a sweet imagination thing, Bingo gets called Snowdrop.
Huh.
Like, that's her young child. It's like, the mom has to be, like, a fancy mom that is like, oh, Snowdrop, don't do that!
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Cute.
I've watched enough Bluey with the kids. I've never come across this
Aw.
factoid.
Yeah. I guess Felicity's been into it more lately, so every time we brush teeth, so there's been at least 2 episodes where Bingo's been called Snowdrop.
Imagine that.
So, yeah, that was the first thing I thought of.
Like, you laughed immediately, and I was like, is it inappropriate? Like, I don't get what snowdrop is innuendo for.
No.
But yeah, this is the January birth month flower, along with a carnation, but I'm not going to model a carnation. No, thank you. It looks too much like marigold, which I just modeled, I think, last month or a month before. So yeah, we'll just get snowdrop this month and tune in February to get more. But yeah, it's a running joke at this point. Like, I always intend to look up the flower meanings, and then I never do. So either Michelle will look it up right now and start saying it, or I'll just put it in the description. She's going to look it up so I don't have to type more stuff later. Yay. I'm not going to just stare at her while she types.
I don't know why I'm, like, hiding my phone from you, too.
I feel like it's a habit.
New beginnings and hope. Rebirth and the ability to overcome challenges.
Nice. That's a good one for January.
Yeah, new beginnings.
Tarot decks are kind of like that. It starts off with, it's called the Fool, but I feel like it's weirdly named because the meaning of it, like, the description is just really positive. It's like setting off on a new journey and, like, doing things, like, you don't know what lays ahead of you and you're just gonna do it. It's like, it's lovely. When you get the Fool in your card drawing, it seems like it's a good thing, but I don't know if I'm just missing some underlying meaning.
I would like to know more about tarot cards. Aren't you going to model some eventually?
Yeah. And
How many are there? Are there, like, a set number of tarot cards and no more? Or is it, like, lots of variations?
There's the major arcana, and that has, I think, 20 or so.
Okay.
And there's the minor arcana, and from what I can gather, I feel like it has about as many as a normal deck of cards. And it even has 4 suits. Like, it's like, oh, the 4 of swords and stuff. And it's like, I don't know. But they all have their different meanings. I've seen other artists who take on that endeavor to make original art for every single deck in the major and minor arcana. And also, I've never said that word out loud, so I don't know if it's arcana. It doesn't sound like it should be, but maybe I sound like a doofus by saying arcana.
No. See, when you said it, I wanted to say it the other, but that's just my thing that I do with you.
Yeah. And it's like, I think the way you're supposed to say this one particular word is nostalgia, but I have looked it up enough that it's like, I think enough people say nostalgia that it's not wrong and it's allowed. And I'm not going to change what I'm saying.
English is weird like that. If everyone decides to start pronouncing it differently, it'll just soon be like, it's fine. That's good too.
Yeah.
No one's wrong because now 50-50.
Yeah. It's like, oh my gosh. When you're reading in a book, I hate when it doesn't clarify what kind of nonplussed the author is using.
Oh.
Because it means both. Either it means a person was very surprised, or it means they were totally not surprised at all.
Yes.
Nonplussed. And, like, I am always seeking out the context. Like it doesn't describe anymore what their reaction is to something that's happened. So it's like, which nonplussed were they? Just be honest with me. Hate it. Gosh, speaking of books and reading, I can't remember why, but I was suddenly reminded of Ender's Game. Because, like, I read that in 5th grade. Because Kevin, our brother, he was in high school at the time, so he was reading it as a high school book. And I felt so mature to be reading it as a 5th grader. And I read it a couple more times throughout middle school, and then once more in high school. And that last time in high school, I read the whole series, like everything that was out at the time, which I think there might have been a dozen books, and I was super into them. And not all, like, it was not concluded by that point. So there was one book, it was going to be called Shadows in Flight, and it wasn't out, and it wasn't even, I think, announcing when it would be out. So I was just like, well, it's time to just distance my heart from this. Like, I'm not going to know about it if it doesn't come out soon. But it's funny because I looked it up, and it came out, like, I would have read these in 2010, and it came out, that last one, in 2012. It's like, I only had to wait 2 years. That doesn't seem like very long in retrospect.
And it was a concluding one?
I believe so. At least it concluded one particular character's storyline. But it's kind of sad, too, because this character, he was suffering from this type of ailment that was going to kill him, and he had some children with him. It was a whole thing, and it's like they also had this ailment, and so it was like they just went out to space in like hyperspace. The time for them would travel slowly, so like only a few years would go by, but then like hundreds of years would go by for everybody else. And their idea, at least as far as I remember, was like humanity will come to a point where someone will find a cure for us and we'll be fine, and only a few years will pass for us. Anyway, spoiler alert, but it's like the cure is found, his children are going to be fine, but it's like it's too late for him. The illness has progressed too far. It's like he dies, and because the illness was really fast, it was just like, oh yeah, Bean, deceased, age 22. It's like, 22? It's like, he had a really hard life. I remember, like, I haven't read these books in a long time, but it was like, it was really tough, and that's not what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I'll try to reread any of these books, because I don't know that I can muster up as much interest as I had when I was a teenager. And I feel like there are other more interesting sci-fis and fantasies I could read at this age. But I don't know. It was weird to read little plot points of that book. I'm like, oh, I care a little bit still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to stay on that same topic, I also read, I think only the first 2 books, though. Because you got me onto the first one, and I jammed through it, and I was in it to win it. Loved it. But the second book, like, reading has always been kind of tough for me since I was a kid. And reading that second one was like, this isn't the same vibe as the first one. Lena, like, isn't he older here?
Yeah.
And where are the other people that I wanted to know about? And I think it started out with being somebody else's perspective or something. So it's like, what is happening? I can't get into it. I did end up reading it, and I did like that one as well. And I inherited all the books from you, but I never read past those 2. But yeah, that first one, I still think about it, and the movie does not hold up. The book was so good.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't realize what became of my physical books.
Yeah, I think that you maybe gave them to Kevin, but then he was done with them or whatnot. And when I moved back to San Diego, I picked them up from him. And I think he was helping me get him in order. And then I had him in order. I think maybe the kitties knocked him over or something, so I had to talk to you again. But it didn't matter because I only read the first 2 anyway.
Yeah. Gosh, what was I thinking of reminding? Oh, okay. The book names. It's like there are 2 kind of series within the ultimate series. It's like the series that follows Ender's story, and then the one that follows Bean's story. And like Bean was in Ender's game, but he was just a minor character. And then we get Ender's shadow, and that starts off Bean's story like along the same lines. It's like we get everything from his perspective, starting from when he was a baby, and then like all of Bean's books are like shadow of the something in the shadows in flight, that kind of thing. But it's like I don't think Ender's books have any sort of consistency, because it's like Ender's game, Speaker of the Dead, Xenocide, something's it's like no way to keep it in order. And I remember Xenocide stands out to me specifically because I thought that was just like when I was in high school and middle school, it's like I was trying to find other books that related to the story, because it seemed like this isn't a standalone book, but I couldn't figure out how to use Google. I think I was just trying to find this kind of thing through the library catalog, which isn't good enough. I needed to have already come with the information, I think, and then been able to just like look up Speaker for the Dead. But if it was just like look up Ender's Game, it's like that's the only title you're gonna get from that look.
Yeah.
And I didn't I think I couldn't figure out what the author's name was because it was written in the same like largeness of font as like the publishing company. And the publishing company was called something kind of that looked like an author's name. Like it was kind of confusing. 6th grade Elena was just having a hard time. It's like I could never get into it until high school when I figured out how to Google anything. Life is hard. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I remember finding more books by the author before that point and being like, oh, Xenocide, I'm just going to read this because I think it's a standalone book of his. But it was like, no, stuff is happening and like I don't know how to do this. And then later finding out like, oh, it was part of the Ender series, but it wouldn't have helped in the first couple of chapters because it's similar to how Speaker of Death starts. It's like different characters are talking about things. I wouldn't recognize that it's part of the Ender series. It was a hard life. Yeah. I suffered.
Yeah, it's fun to remember all the books that got you into reading.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but Kite Runner was one of the ones that was like so good.
Gosh, you've talked about that book. I never read it, but I in recent years read the summary.
That's intense. Like, stuff is happening in that book.
Gosh.
I feel like the movie was decent with it, too. But that was also 2009. A little while ago.
It's just a little. Yeah, it is super gross. Because I was thinking about that, like, reading Ender's Game, and I'm like, I must have been about 15, and it, like, that's... that many years has passed since I last read it. It's just, the passage of time is so gross.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's a constant thing that it's like, our brains often try to reset to 2010. Like, just a decade ago, that was 2010. But it's like, no, time is passing a lot faster than you realize. But it's like, I was watching a video, that one Australian artist I like, Fairy Little Peach, she was talking about this Crayola set that she bought that was like a vintage set from the 70s, and she kept saying like, wow, that these colors have maintained integrity for the last 30 years. And I didn't think about that until a certain point, and I was like, 50 years actually.
Oh man. 50.
It's like, it didn't seem like she was saying anything wrong, but then I did a quick little math in my head.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, the 70s were a little bit longer ago than that. Whoops.
We're all guilty. It's hard. I wonder if Mom's got a more set date of longer ago.
Yeah, the 90s. That was just 20 years ago, right? That could be.
Yeah.
So no, we should ask.
I'm still waiting on some snow this season.
Certainly.
It was quite cold today, though, and Felicity kept noticing those clouds. So, it's a storm! And I had I whoopsied, and I said what my phone told me about a fire warning, and she's like, oh no, fire! Felicity, oh my goodness. Paranoid about any little thing. Like tornadoes when we're not in a tornado state.
She really does. And like the, avalanche warnings that we saw when we were hiking.
Oh my gosh,
And then when it did snow, she was like, oh, so there's gonna be an avalanche now?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not a problem. And also, like, we don't live at the base of the mountain that we climbed. Like, we're fine.
Yep. I got a bracelet for Christmas, and the first one I got was 8.5 inches, and it was huge. So we got one that is now 7 inches.
Oh.
And it fits lovely, and my charms dangle, and I like the fit, but it's so hard to get on when there's just, like 2 centimeters worth of slack. But I don't want it to be down at my elbow being so large.
Yeah.
So it's enough room to breathe, just difficult to put on.
Yeah. Gosh, it's funny with knitting and crocheting stuff recently, because I wanted to use the term that's used for that, which is positive ease. 2 centimeters of positive ease.
Huh.
Yeah, you're gonna turn into a bracelet gal, huh?
I think so.
I like wearing bracelets. I feel like I'm gonna enjoy wearing our bangle bracelets that I made, which there will be a video about later. You'll find out in months. I don't know when I'll edit it. But anyway, I feel like I still want to get a tattoo of a bracelet style.
Oh, cute.
But I'll never have to take a bracelet off.
Like, Scott.
Uh-huh.
It's an armband.
Scott McCall, she means. Teen Wolf.
We're on first name basis. But I usually have a hair tie on my wrist. Just for as long as a long time. I guess I don't need to be specific. But I had been wearing them for as long as the kids had long hair. And now it's kind of just like, I always wear my own now. And now I'm used to things on my wrist. I'm not usually a jewelry person, but it hasn't been bothering me.
Yeah.
I miss that, my jade bracelet.
Yeah. Because, I made some faux jade bracelets for me, Michelle, and my mom, and I glazed it all with Mod Podge, bunches and bunches of layers of Mod Podge to make it really, like, glossy. And what I should have done is used my special dishwasher-safe Mod Podge, because we wash our bodies and our hands just as much as we would wash dishes, if not more. So, like, the bracelet needs to be able to handle that. And, like, gosh, it's like, I knew it was getting a little duller and duller, so, like, the Mod Podge was washing off for sure, even if I couldn't really feel residue on my skin. But then one morning, I woke up and there was, like, an indent from my blanket on the bracelet. So it was like the Mod Podge was malleable enough for the fabric to leave that kind of impression. It's like, I don't trust like that. Like, eventually the paint is going to be rubbing off on my skin.
Yeah.
Like, right now, if I get the Mod Podge dishwasher kind on, then, like, it'll be preserved. But I need to act fast. Yeah, it's like it takes a month to set, so that's annoying.
I had a thought about, because not only do you wear the jade bracelets for long, but they are like, squeeze it on and then you can't take it off. And now I'm thinking, like, what about those, don't they have like permanent jewelry now, where they don't have a clasp, they just solder it on there, so it's on you permanently, so it won't fall off by the clasp breaking off or whatnot. But what if you go into the hospital and they need your jewelry's off, would they break them?
Ask when you're at the doctor.
No, that's weird.
I'll ask when I'm at the doctor next. I need
Okay.
to make an appointment.
Do that.
It's been a year.
Yeah, I have to go in February, and I feel like last time I was there, she didn't even like listen to my heart or look in my ears. So, what is an appointment even about?
I don't know why. Okay, it sounded like you meant metaphorically. She didn't listen to my heart. She didn't ask me questions. She didn't ask me how my day went.
Yeah, and then the chart had answers. There's like, you didn't ask me that. You didn't say anything. Like, yeah, I think it was saying like the ears and the throat looked good. Like, you didn't look in those spots though.
Yeah.
You can say that if you looked, but you didn't check.
Gosh, one of my comments after my appointment was just funnily phrased, but I looked it up and it said, like, a lot of doctors will phrase it this way, but it was saying, like, she's well developed. It just meant, like, I'm good. You can see I look healthy just by looking at me. It just was funny to see that in a doctor's note.
Yes.
Like, I'm well developed by whose standards? Well, here's a snowdrop.
Snowdrop. You should put in the audio of Chili saying it.
Okay. All right, thank you everyone for watching.
See you next time.
Yeah, and next time will be first Monday of February.
Ba-dum-bum, ba-dum-bum.